Together we stand, together we shield, and therefore together we train is a very good title to talk about tonight. What is possible if we really want to?
About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 17 Battle Group has moved forward, reaches Drava River, and has a blurry situational awareness. He doesn't know exactly if he really is in control already of the other side of the waterway. In the old days, we used to have what we call an exercise control organization. So an organization that's only occupied with getting this exercise squared away. But since our brigades are now lean and mean, really lean and mean, we have to organize this by ourselves. So you had to take care of real life support, but at the same time support the training in the field, and at the same time think about training objectives and get the exercise working. For us it was extremely important, multinational setting. As General Swillens mentioned, February last year, 2016, Ministers of Defense of the Netherlands and Germany signed technical arrangement to coordinate and cooperate and integrate really in depth. The whole exercise was conducted with our Dutch MCTC system, which is a mobile training system based on laser. So each and every soldier has a laser vest on his helmet and on his body. And it's like a modern paintball game. You laser also on the vehicles, and you can see, and I can show you in a minute, a clip of that. You can really monitor on the individual level almost what's happening. The scenario we took was fictitious and very important, against an enemy that's very capable, that really has the same means that we have. We also participated with guys from Defense Cyber Command. And if you now have your Wi-Fi or your Bluetooth on your radio or on your telephone, you're visible. And when you're visible, you can be hit. You can be hit by artillery. So when 17 Battle Group went into the box, went into the training area, of course we told them, don't bring your phone. And of course they didn't all listen. And of course we put fire upon them with the MCTC system. And of course they started asking, what's happening? Because my vest is going off. And when 4 or 5 Battle Group went into the box, 0. Very steep learning curve. But what are now the most important lessons to share? Well, first of all, you can imagine there's no substitute for real life training. You can do all the simulation you want. You can do CPXs all the time. But when it's minus 15 and you're out in the field for 7 or 8 days and you're really cold and hungry and you didn't sleep too well, that will affect your process. And the friction is always there. And that's Clausewitz. The one who deals best with friction will win in the end. So that's why it's very important for us to train every now and then. And I would say for a brigade, it should be once in every 2 years, you should do an FTX. And you always should do it in an international setting. And we didn't learn on that part so much new lessons. We learned a lot of lessons we already knew. For me, and I just discussed it with General Swillens, for me it was actually, I was actually surprised that we really were able still to set up an exercise with this size, with this logistic movements, with this deployment, with all the things, and we did it. We made it. And that's because there are a lot of capable officers and NCOs working in the army. And one key challenge for the oncoming years will be, and that's no new thing, it's called interoperability. So if you have attached a Polish mechanized infantry company to your battle group or a German tank company, you must be able to communicate in a secure way, to send data from A to B. You have to make that work out in the field. And that's the hard part. We didn't solve yet enough. We have to put money, energy in solving the interoperability issue. Fighting against a peer adversary. Very important. So not the easy way against an enemy you can overwhelm. No, this was really free battle with an enemy who really has capabilities similar to yours. Everything that we did was under close surveillance of all types of people. And we experienced that our mobile phones were directed through strange servers. And maybe now here in this audience, is somebody sitting with a certain agenda. And that's not something you have to worry about. It's something you have to be very aware.
I would like to start with thanking you and your soldiers for being in Poland, for exercising with the Polish troops, with the German troops and other colleagues from other NATO countries. I would like, if you please, to ask you about your experience with, as sincere as you can give us, with your experience with cooperation with the Polish army.
What I think is key, also in our German-Dutch cooperation, is language. Language skills is extremely important. So the better you train not only your officers corps, but also your NCO corps in English, because that's still and will be the language in military operations, is extremely important.
My question is about the vulnerability of your troops, because as we all know, where the exercises were held, it was pretty close to an enclave of a not so friendly country. And there's a lot of talk about the Iskander nuclear missiles. But as we all know, there's all kinds of missiles in this area, especially surface-to-surface missiles. And was it part of your exercise to deal with this threat to your troops? And how did you dealt with it?
So for us it was also very useful to see how our Polish friends dealt with this threat. For us, of course, we make an estimate as we always make it. It's supported also by our intelligence service, and we are never naive, let's put it that way. But we don't see threats that aren't there. So if you ask me, do you really expect a great rocket threat from Kaliningrad to Drawsko-Pomorsky training area? No, I don't think so.
Can you tell us anything about the lessons learned in this exercise in the non-kinetical domain? And my consecutive question is if there is any exercise coming, especially aimed at that aspect.
The lessons learned in the non-kinetical part, I think it's a very good question, and it's a flaw in the presentation. What we did deploy from the 1st CIMIC battalion, our CIMIC officers. And what they did, they went to all the surrounding villages of Drawsko-Pomorsky training area. And they start to conduct conversations with the mayors of all these little villages around the training area, and to get a picture of what the societal environment looked like. Were the people happy that the Dutch were training there? Did they actually know that they were training there? So they actually did a lot of projects also with the schools, with all kind of activities. And as a matter of fact, in our thinking, this comprehensive way of thinking, we didn't put enough energy in it. But the CMI guys, they raised it and they said, hey, we can do it in this exercise. I said, yeah, of course. We made this common mistake, only focusing on kinetic. So actually it was very good because it was a real environment. You really have to move to a Polish mayor and discuss with him. So very well executed by the CMI guys. We cannot look away. That's not an option. We really have to improve ourselves. We really have to make sure that we do every day the best we can to prepare ourselves for what's coming up in the oncoming 10 years.
The complexity is there. Whatever it's going to be complicated, it's going to be complex, and it's going to change rapidly. And that means training, more training.